Am I living? Oh, what a funny thing to say.
I'll have the coffee before we start today.
Good idea.
Hey, can we have a chat today
Yes.
about somebody just recently lost? Think you know where we're going to go with it?
And I think we should.
Talking about living.
Unfortunately.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to a brand new episode of Livin'. I'm Vince Fusco.
And I am Nancy Timpano. Hello.
Hello, Nez. What a week.
I know.
Oh, man.
It's been probably more for you than me because I feel the loss and I didn't have a bit of the connection that you did. But we are talking about your friend.
Jock Zonfrillo.
Yes.
World-renowned chef, master chef judge here in Australia, big personality, big name in the chef world, in the cooking world.
And I remember when I heard the news, I sent you a text because I couldn't remember the connection.
Yeah.
But I said, Vince, what's going on? I remember you had a connection with Jock. Like, what was it? How are you? All of that.
It was such a bananas day when that news came out on Monday, because they were supposed to have like the beginning of MasterChef that same night.
That's
and I was
right.
listening to the radio that morning and Melissa Leong was on there talking about the premiere, Jamie Oliver, like what a year it's been.
Yeah.
And then that afternoon I came out of like a day of meetings, opened my phone, and the first thing I saw was the post from the project posted they had passed. And it's that sort of moment, that moment where you never sort of, not that you don't think of people passing or when they're going to go, but you just don't ever picture a world without them, even if they're not an everyday part of your life.
Yeah.
It's like when a celebrity dies sometimes you're just shocked because you're like, I never thought of the world without Robin Williams. I never thought of the music industry without Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
It's a bit like that, I suppose. So it was just a bit of a shock. And then to think back and the connection, and it's funny how we are connected because it started with you and me at the Royal Show.
I know, you reminded me. I forgot about our beautiful takeaway coffees.
Oh, so we have a coffee addiction, you and I.
Just one. Just one or two a day, that's it.
Yeah, in the first 2 hours at least.
Yes.
No, but at the Royal Adelaide Show every year, we would meet in the morning, get our normal coffee, have a bit of a debrief of the day and what it looks like. And we would get coffee from... We would try to find the best coffee place each year.
Wasn't always easy.
Wasn't always easy. Gosh.
Good donuts, bad coffee.
Yeah, it's difficult. And even like the price. You want to get the price right because an $8 cup of coffee, let me tell you. We'll talk about that another day. But Street ADL, one of Jock's former establishments and restaurants in the city, had, as part of the Tasting Australia tent, they had their own setup, a pop-up of Street ADL, and it was fantastic. So we went there regularly to the point where we really became quite friendly with the staff there. Ezra, do you remember Ezra, who was the barista at the time? So Ezra, bless him, at the time was telling us about like, I'm going to do acro. He was doing acro, and he was maybe moving to Melbourne. He's done all of that. He's been back here in Adelaide for the last like 3 or 4 years, every fringe season, just killing it, Nance. We'll talk about good humans like him later on. But Ezra was the one who was looking after us with coffee, and his manager, Aaron, then started like talking to us and chatting a bit about what we do and how we do it. And we sort of said, well, look, what's the connection with Street ADL? And they said, well, Jock is running this as part of the pop-up and we're his team. And I said, well, that's interesting. I'm looking at a fringe venue for next year, and I run one every couple of years if I can with back then with Joanne Hartstone. We collaborated a few times on venues, and we were looking for a bar partner at the time. So I said, well, look, can we have a chat about it? So Aaron set up this meeting with Jock and myself, and we met and negotiated our way to becoming business partners for the bar, for the Queen's Theatre, for the 8th Square bar that we had. And let me tell you, just like the intimidation that I felt immediately when I met him, and I think it's just because his pedigree in that world, and look, I'm not a chef by any means. I don't have an invested interest in it. I don't spend my nights cooking or reading recipe books or looking
cheese
at chefs.
Toasty?
100%. I just had that today. Could you smell it on my breath? Is that what that was?
They got a bit of cheese on the side.
Oh, that makes sense. Damn it. But, Marco Pierre White, again, another world famous chef and with a stellar career, he trained him. So again, when you consider chefs and their personalities, and I guess that's sort of stereotypical, isn't it? Can't paint them all with the same basting brush. But, well, you know, I guess I was intimidated, but he was the loveliest guy, so down to earth. And the thing that stood out for me all the while that we worked together across that whole season was the detail. And I guess that's what translated in his personality, in his negotiation, in the way that he managed his teams, the way that he managed his business. Detail. And you could see that in the food that was being presented as well. So I was lucky enough to eat at Orana restaurant.
So both Eugene and I, we went together on a date night and we loved it.
Okay, what was your favourite?
Oh, God.
Do you remember, did you get the green ants?
No.
Oh, my God, the green ants, delicious.
We're talking 2016?
Yeah, 2016, I reckon.
I can't remember that age. I'm very sorry.
No, I know. I'm one of those, I love
I'm
documenting.
very sorry. I can't remember.
I document most of my meals, give them a rating, as you know. There's a spreadsheet. We'll talk about that another day. No, Orana restaurant, won how many hats, best restaurant in Australia for a couple of years as well back then. Just exquisite Indigenous ingredients from the South Australian coast and surrounding areas, just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Getting to eat there and seeing his work there, and then again, like I said, you translate that to real world and business practice, and I learnt a lot from him. We didn't even make it the whole way through the entire Fringe, and it was because our little theatre, which had a bar, wasn't making necessarily as much money as the venues like Croquet Club. He had another venue there, another bar, and he would come in at night and we'd have our last drinks at the end of the night and he'd say, Vinny, how have we done today? And I'll be like, yeah, look, we made X amount of money. And he'd be like, is that it? Again, through that, he was phenomenal in the way he mentored me, this is how we're going to do it for the rest of it. I'm going to give you this, we're going to look after this, I want you to take care of that. We're going to, just the strategy that came out of him so quickly and the care that he took with myself being, I guess, the smaller fish. Very much so. Oh.
You were learning. Small fish is just learning.
Well, learning, but I felt like I did get to learn. He gave me the opportunity to learn. And that was really something that always stuck with me. And even thereafter, after we finished the season, we always, whenever you'd see each other, it was so lovely.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to, I guess, say a cheers to Jock and, his family. I can't imagine what that must feel like, and obviously having a younger family as well.
That's right.
That's the sad tragedy of it all. But a life well lived, memories treasured. Yeah. And cheers to you, Jock Zonfrillo.
Yeah. And sending love and condolences and strength to the family, to the wife and the kids.
Absolutely. Hug those close to you, everybody. We'll see you soon.
Am I living?
And now back to our regular live-in programming where we talk about real life experience with Vince Fusco and Nancy Timpano. We've got another episode coming up very shortly.
On a cloudy day, on a cloudy